Hi everyone, here's a new G-Stomper user video. Today we will learn how to handle the effects related views and how to use and configure the effects available in the application. Let's get down to business. G-Stomper provides various effect units across the signal chain. 3 free assignable effect units on the FX screen, 2 SumFx units on the master SumFx screen, 2 insert effect units on the mixer per channel. From any screen, use the View menu to navigate to one of these sections. Each available effects unit can load a single effect. To load an effect for a particular unit, push the button in the lower left corner of the effect unit. The used effects can be different for each pattern, and as a matter of course you can use the same effect in multiple units. Each effect unit provides up to 4 parameters to control the effect. The parameters are located in the 2 parameter pages. The name and purpose of the particular parameters depend on the effect we have loaded. The parameters can either be controlled by faders or in use of the XY controller. The button block in the middle is available, fully or partially, depending on the effect type. LFO on, off, depending on the FX type. Waveform. Select LFO waveform, depending on the FX type. Long click to invert the waveform. ENVF, envelope follower, on, off, depending on the FX type. Sync. Synchronize tempo on or off, depending on the FX type. Each effect unit provides 2 main VU meters. The left VU, effects input signal. Right VU, FX output signal. Center VU, FX input 2 signal. This FU meter is exclusively used in the regular FX chain. Effects types with sidechain support provide 1 additional VU meter in the middle to monitor the sidechain signal from FX input 2. We will discuss the FX sidechaining in more detail below. G-Stomper provides a total of 47 different effect types, which can be loaded into the effect units. Main FX chain types. The 3 effect units in the main FX chain provide the complete set of effects types, which are 10 dynamic processors, 7 distortion effects, 5 delays and 2 reverbs, 5 modulation effects, 10 resonant filters, and 8 other effects including pitch shifters and 4 vocoders. Master SumFx and Mixer Channel Insert FX types. The SumFx units in the Master section and the Mixer Channel Insert FX units come without sidechain support. Therefore, the vocoders are excluded, since the vocoders work with sidechain only. Apart from the vocoders, the 2 SumFx units in the Master section as well as the Mixer Channel FX units provide the same effect types as the main FX chain. The free assignable effects unit on the FX edit screen can be chained together to send 1 or more signals through FX1 and processed FX1 output through FX2, for example. Chain modes. Off. FX1 and FX2. FX2 and FX3. FX1, FX2 and FX3. To send an audio signal of a particular track through one of the free assignable FX1, FX2 or FX3, you can use the FX Send button, available in the toolbar of almost every screen. The FX send in the toolbar is always related to the selected track. Select the desired track and then assign the FX. Alternatively, you can assign the FX on the mixer when you have an FX send for each channel. Short-click to switch between FX1, FX2 and FX3. Or long-click to switch between input 1 and input 2 of the assigned FX. It should be noticed that input 2 is only available on effects with sidechain support. On all other effects, input 2 is ignored, routing to input 1. Sidechaining uses the signal level of a secondary input to control the modulation and manipulation, e.g. the compression level of the main signal. In the case of a compressor, when the secondary sidechain signal is stronger, the compressor acts more to strongly reduce the output gain. This is used by disc jockeys to lower the music volume automatically when speaking. In this example, the DJ's microphone signal is routed to a stereo compressor's sidechain input. The main music signal is routed through the compressor's main input, so that whenever the DJ speaks, the compressor reduces the volume of the music, a process called ducking. The following effects in G-Stomper support sidechaining over FX input 2. All compressor limiter effects, the gate and transition shaper, the 8 resonant filters, and the 4 vocoders. By default, when you use the FX send button to pass a track audio signal to an FX, it uses input 1. To send a signal to input 2, long-click the FX send button. Compressor limiter example. No sidechaining. Without sidechaining, the compressor limiter effect reduces the volume of the main input signal, input 1, depending on the main input level. The louder the input signal, the more the reduction. Step 1. Create a simple kick drum track. Triggers on step 1, 5, 9 and 13, typical straight beat, and send it to the FX unit where you loaded the compressor limiter. Route it normally to the default input 1, no sidechaining. Step 2. Create a simple track using a long synthesizer sound and send it to the compressor limiter as well. Step 3. Adjust the kick drum so it's louder than the synthesizer signal. Step 4. With a bit of adjusting on the compressor limiter on the FX edit screen, you'll hear the typical ducking effect, known from many musical productions. What happens in the compressor limiter is as follows. The output volume of the compressor limiter is reduced each time the kick drum starts to play, and as soon as the kick drum is over, the volume gets louder again. As a matter of course, this is dependent on the settings of the compressor limiter, attack, release, ratio and threshold. This sounds great, but what if you want the ducking effect on the synthesizer, on step 1, 5, 9, 13, but you don't want to hear the kick drum which is controlling the effect? This can be achieved with the compressor sidechaining. Compressor limiter with sidechaining. Long-click the FX send of the kick drum track to send it to the compressor limiter, but send it to input 2 instead of input 1. Set the VU meter in the middle to monitor the input 2 signal. Now you don't hear the kick drum anymore, but it still controls the ducking effect. This is what compressor sidechaining does. It lets a second signal, which is not in the main mix, control the compression level. The same can be applied to the resonant filters. The only difference is the sidechain signal, input 2, controls the envelope follower instead of the compression level. We must bear in mind that the sidechaining is only possible in the main FX chain, FX1, FX2 and FX3. The SumFx1 and SumFx2 on the master FX screen do not allow sidechaining. Vocode example. A vocode, short for voice encoder, is a category of voice codecs that analyzes and synthesizes the human voice signal for auto data compression, multiplexing, voice encryption, voice transformation, etc. A vocode can be used in a wide range of musical genres. What you can pass through a vocoder goes of course far beyond simple voice signals, e.g. drum loops, FX noise, etc. A vocoder analyses the frequency bands of a modulator signal, usually a voice, and applies them to a carrier synth signal. The modulator signal in G-Stomper FX Input 1 is passed through a multi-band filter. Each band is passed through a level analyzer, and the control signals from the level analyzers are transmitted to the decoder. The decoder applies these amplitude control signals to corresponding filters for resynthesis. The carrier signal, on the other hand, in G-Stomper FX Input 2 is passed through the corresponding filters in the decoder, where the frequency bands of the modulator get applied. Step 1. Modulator. Create a simple vocal track. Trigger on Step 1.
Testing 1. Testing 1. Testing 1.
And send it to the FX unit where you loaded the vocoder A. Route it normally to the default input 1, no sidechaining. Press play.
Testing 1. Testing 1. Testing 1.
What you hear now is the vocoded signal of the vocal track. Since we didn't send a carrier signal to input 2 yet, the default carrier, a static synth sound, is used instead. Step 2. Carrier. Create a simple track using a long synthesizer sound, ideally sawtooth or similar, and send it to the vocoder A as well. It can be a VB synthesizer or sampler track. Just make sure the result is a continuously playing synth sound. You'll get best results when using a carrier with a large harmonic content. Step 3. Now long click on the FX end of the synth track to send it, still to the vocoder A, but to input 2 instead of input 1. A little hint, use the VU meter in the middle to monitor the input 2 signal again. Press play again.
Testing 1. Testing 1. Testing 1.
What you hear now is the vocoded signal of the vocal track, but using the carrier signal for input 2. For more details about particular effects, see chapter Effect Reference in G-Stomper User Manual. Thank you for watching, hopefully it's been helpful. Please give us a like and we'll be back soon with a new video.